I can't dwell. Kim Kardashian said that, and I'm saying this. Welcome to High and Low. Good day and good night. Welcome to the High and Low Basketball Show. This is episode number 104, aka episode number 194. Frenchman Evan Fournier wore the number 94 as a member of the Denver Nuggets at the start of his career. He also wore 94 during his brief stint in Boston back in 2021. Everybody talks about James Johnson's prowess as a martial artist, but apparently Evan Fournier is quite the judo practitioner himself. Both of his parents were judo experts and passed on their skills and teachings to young Evan long before he was hooping, which makes him kind of an expert. And he makes me wonder who would win if he squared up with James Johnson. I don't know, man. People tend to write off judo, but don't sleep on those throws, man. Don't sleep on those throws. Anyway, welcome to the show. My name is Ike Amaechi. Around here, we live by principle governed by high and low lives of the world, which means we talk about basketball, especially and specifically the NBA, and we talk about it at any time, anywhere, north, south, east, west, high and low. This week, it's a solo episode, and that usually means it's a shorter one, truncated version. You know, it's the Casamigos edition of High and Low. Instead of the usual tall boy, I'm giving you a shot of that hot tequila to burn your throat, you know, the joint with the worm in the bottle. Today, I'm talking about the players who broke basketball, and the timing couldn't be better with all the offensive stats in the league looking like NBA 2K on pro settings. It feels like we're witnessing an offensive revolution, but we'll let the dust settle before we pinpoint the culprit and, you know, the catalyst of this event. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about some guys who broke the game in years past. Some names might surprise you. Maybe, possibly, we'll see. I also have a listener question about, you guessed it, NBA refs. What's new? It feels like we just talked about these refs, but hey, they've been out of control, out of pocket this season. Stay tuned for that. Hey, before we lock in, let me check in.
Oh, hi. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Listeners of the show, High and Low Lives of the World, thank you for joining us this week. Thank you for joining me this week. Hey, I hope you're having a great week. And we are here for another week, another episode, because if there's more NBA, then of course, there's more High and Low. This week in NBA history.
His airness was born. On February 7th, 1987, the basketball world witnessed Michael Jordan defy gravity in a way that would forever etch his name in the annals of slam dunk greatness. In the Nestle Crunch Slam Dunk Contest in Seattle, MJ took a running start from the opposite foul line, soared through the air, and executed a gravity-defying dunk without even grazing the floor. It was a jaw-dropping spectacle that showcased not only Jordan's unparalleled athleticism, but also his flair for the dramatic. Fast forward to February 6th of the following year, and Jordan was on his home turf at Chicago Stadium for the Nestle Crunch Slam Dunk Contest once again. The stage was set for a night that would go down in history as one of the greatest dunk contests ever. Facing off against formidable competitors, including Dominique Wilkins, Jordan elevated the art of dunking to new heights.
It's a 45! That's incredible! Now for Michael Jordan, here's the story. Wilkins finishes with 145. Michael Jordan needs a 48 to tie, a 49 to win.
Creativity and imagination is the key, plus he's got to make the dunk.
In a contest filled with creativity, charisma, and sheer athleticism, Jordan earned a perfect score of 50 on his final dunk, solidifying his status as the dunk king.
Well, the crowd lets you know what they think of it. Now we will wait for the judges. A 48 ties, a 49 wins. They gave him a 50. They gave Jordan a 50. He defends his championship.
The hometown crowd at Chicago Stadium erupted in applause, witnessing a performance that transcended the competition itself. This wasn't just about dunks. It was a showcase of Jordan's ability to captivate an audience and infuse entertainment into the game. The 1988 Nestle Crunch Slam Dunk Contest became a defining moment in the career of a player who would go on to shape the NBA landscape in ways beyond imagination.
That was a little something for the NBA history nerds. Things are certainly happening in the NBA today, which is why you have questions and I might have answers. So we'll see. Anyway, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about something important.
I have a question from Aleem in Toronto, Canada. This question is this. Every year, NBA officiating is always something to complain about, but this season seems to be especially hard to watch. Referees are making egregious errors on a nightly basis, but players and coaches seem to be the ones who are penalized when they speak up. How do you think the NBA can fix the referee problem? First and foremost, thank you very much. Appreciate the question, Aleem. I share your thoughts on NBA officiating. Completely understand. It's undeniable that officiating plays a crucial role in the NBA. Let's be honest, it impacts the flow of the game. It impacts the outcome of games, but all that should be invisible to the eye of the spectator. When you have lopsided officiating, imbalanced foul calls, technical fouls being called for passing a ball to a ref, officials are no longer invisible or even a lesser part of the narrative. They become the narrative, and that's bad for business. Refs, they can't be biased. They have to be subjective. They can't have emotions. In fact, NBA referees should be operating on a scale of ones and zeros, no variables, just the algorithm of the NBA rule book, if you know what I'm saying. And this is why the league needs to explore integrating AI technology into its officiating. Yes, I said it. And to address the current concerns and enhance the overall officiating experience with AI technology, I have a few ideas the league should consider. Just a few. First things first, AI officiating assistance. Okay, hear me out. The NBA needs to explore the use of artificial intelligence to assist on-court referees. An AI referee assistant could quickly analyze plays. They can provide real-time insights. And honestly, they'll reduce the likelihood of human error, because that's what we're talking about on a regular basis. It's human error. And the other thing, AI referee experimentation. Now think about it. You conduct trials where AI systems officiate parts of games alongside human referees. This would allow the league to assess the effectiveness of AI in real game scenarios. You got to give it at least a try, just a try. And then, of course, AI-powered rules analysis. Use AI to analyze the complexity of existing rules. Simplifying rules where possible could reduce confusion and contribute to more consistent officiating. And finally, AI-assisted evaluation. Now, they already have referee performance evaluations, but implement AI-assisted performance evaluations for referees, and it allows AI technology to analyze the decision-making history. It can provide constructive feedback, identifying areas for improvement, but it's all subjective. It's all based on algorithm. Now, combining traditional methods with innovative technologies like AI could lead to more accurate, consistent, and transparent officiating systems in the league. I'm not one to openly advocate for replacing humans with tech. Not saying that at all, but perhaps there's a middle ground where our ability to officiate a game without incident is more likely with AI technology as a back pocket solution. But hey, that's just me. Anyway, great question, Aleem. I'm sure this will be a running narrative for the entire season. But hey, who knows? Maybe we'll see some AI technology implemented or integrated. But yeah, let's move on.
All right, you guys, what's next?
We didn't get to this last week, but NBA All-Star rosters were announced. Well, the reserves were announced. We already knew the starters. You got Giannis, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, and Jason Tatum in the East, Luka Doncic, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, and our boy Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the West. The East reserves are Bam Adebayo, Paolo Banchero, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey, and Julius Randle. When was the last time the Knicks had two All-Stars? It's impressive. And in the West, the reserves are Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Karl Anthony Towns. Off rip, the West is much more impressive top to bottom than the East. But that's just my opinion.
Did you hear that?
Quick reminder to High and Low Lives, if you want to leave a question for us to answer on the show, send your DM to us on TikTok at More High and Low or on Instagram at Get High and Low. Links are always in the show notes, always. I promise you. Anyway, it's time for us to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to start breaking things. Yes, this is a High and Low NBA show.
Drum roll!
Welcome back. I'm Ike Amaechi, and you're listening to the High and Low NBA show. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was a woman named Kim Kardashian who ventured into a studio to pose for the cover of a magazine. It was called Paper Magazine. The provocative, oiled-up poses captured on camera that they would go on to create a global and digital frenzy when the magazine cover was finally revealed to the world. You had Kim with a champagne glass balancing on her backside. On that day, a phrase was arguably coined: Kim Kardashian broke the internet. It was a seismic, cataclysmic event that couldn't be avoided anywhere online. It changed celebrity. Change. When something is broken, it is changed forever, no matter how hard you try to put it back together. It's like Humpty Dumpty, you know what I mean? The NBA is no stranger to this concept. Basketball has been revolutionized on several occasions. The game has had to change for many reasons, and some of those reasons are players themselves. An elite class of stars who have not only dominated the sport, but they also revolutionized the game. They broke the game just as much as Kim Kardashian once broke the internet. Now, on this episode, I'm naming names, 4 transformative players who didn't just play the game, but changed it. I'm going to run through my list, and I invite you to share your opinions, please. You can do it in a review or in the comment section on our socials, or you can just send me a scathing DM. Either way, I encourage you to have a reaction. Solo episodes are always shorter episodes, so no further delays are necessary. Let me jump into it. Here are my top 4 players who broke basketball.
Once I get my feet wet, I think I'm going to be a pretty good player.
Well, confidence has never been a problem. You certainly bring that onto the court, don't you?
Right. I was always taught to be confident but not arrogant, and I'm going to always be a confident player, no matter what happens.
Starting with Shaquille O'Neal. When it comes to sheer dominance and physical presence, few players in NBA history compare to Shaq. Standing at 7 feet 1 inch tall and weighing around 300 pounds during his prime, Shaq was a force of nature on the basketball court. His impact went well beyond scoring and rebounding. It was all about altering the very dynamics of the game. He was the unstoppable force and the immovable object who broke the game literally. I mean, he broke over a dozen rims and backboards during his career. And Shaq's journey began with the Orlando Magic back in 1992, where he quickly asserted himself as one of the most formidable centers in the league, next to one of the greatest what-ifs in league history, at least in my opinion, Penny Hardaway. If not for injuries, Penny might have been an all-time great, but I digress. It was Shaq's move to the Lakers of Los Angeles in 1996 that truly marked the start of an era of dominance. Alongside Kobe Bean Bryant, Shaq led the Lakers to 3 consecutive NBA championships from 2000 to 2002. His ability to dominate in the paint was unparalleled. Defenders struggled to contain him, often resorting to just fouling him recklessly sometimes, which led to the coining of the term Hack-a-Shaq. Shaq's physicality forced rule changes in the league, particularly regarding intentional fouls, as the league sought ways to address the challenge of defending a man the size of him. Beyond his on-court prowess, though, Shaq brought charisma and a larger-than-life personality to the NBA. His wit and charm made him a fan favorite, and his ventures into music, acting, and later broadcasting showcased a multifaceted persona that extended far beyond basketball. It's easy to look at the individual accolades, the MVPs, the All-NBAs, the titles, but this is about how Shaq changed the way the game was played and defended. His dominance in the paint and the Shaq effect on opponents' game plans are lasting legacies that make him one of the players who truly broke the game in the most physical and imposing sense.
All right, you guys, what's next?
Harper from Illinois, 14 years in the league, 35 years of age, 6'4" guard.
Here's a guy you wouldn't expect on this list of guys who broke the game. Derek Harper, the tenacious point guard known for a stifling defense, truly left an indelible mark on the game and played a crucial role in changing the landscape of basketball. Harper's defensive style, particularly his infamous use of the hand check, became a defining element of his playing style. Derek Harper's relentless defensive pressure, often employing the hand check to impede opposing guards, was so effective that it caught the attention of both players and league officials. His physical and strategic use of the hand check not only frustrated opponents, but also contributed significantly to the evolution of defensive strategies in the NBA. He gave fits to players like Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, Isaiah Thomas, Kenny Smith, and it influenced others around the league to implement a similar style. Now, in response to players like Derek Harper, who mastered the art of the hand check, the NBA decided to implement rule changes. The league aimed to open up the game, enhance offensive freedom, and ensure a more entertaining product for fans. This led to the enforcement of stricter rules against hand checking, altering the defensive landscape and shifting the balance toward offensive-oriented play. So, as we explore the players who broke basketball and revolutionized the sport, Derek Harper definitely earns his spot for being a catalyst in the rule change that reshaped how defense is played in the NBA today.
All right, you guys, what's next?
Running on fumes with 45 points.
At the end of the game, you gotta get it out of his hand. He's a killer.
That may have been the last shot Michael Jordan will ever take in the NBA. If that's the last image of Michael Jordan, how magnificent is it?
Michael Jeffrey Jordan, the GOAT. Jordan's impact on basketball isn't just about stats, rings, accolades, MVPs, trophy after trophy, All-NBA after All-NBA, title after title. It's more than that. Michael Jordan was a cultural phenomenon that transcended the court. His influence went far beyond the realm of sports, turning the NBA into a global powerhouse and reshaping basketball into this global cultural force. Jordan's combination of skill, charisma, and competitiveness made him an absolute icon. His partnership with Nike gave birth to the iconic Air Jordan brand, creating a cultural connection between basketball and fashion. The Jumpman logo became synonymous with excellence, not just in sports, but, well, everywhere. On the court, Jordan's scoring ability, his clutch performances, his leadership, it was all unparalleled. His competitive spirit set a standard for excellence that players in subsequent generations aspired to reach. The Jordan-esque clutch gene became a benchmark for greatness in the NBA and in all sports. Off the court, Jordan's impact was equally profound. He opened doors for athletes in endorsements and business ventures. His ownership of the Charlotte Hornets made him the first former player to become the majority owner of an NBA team, paving the way for players to have a greater role in the business side of the NBA. The globalization of the NBA owes basically everything to Michael Jordan. His popularity transcended borders, making basketball a universal language. The NBA's international reach grew exponentially during Jordan's era, laying the foundation for the league's current status as a sports powerhouse In essence, Michael Jordan's impact on basketball goes beyond his dominance on the court. Michael Jordan changed the economics of basketball.
What did you say?
All right, you guys, what's next?
Alec Burks guarding him from the start. Wiggins again. Here's Curry for the record. It's good! And there it is! Stephen Curry, the all-time three-point king in the NBA. Three-pointer number 2974. The man who changed the game. The igniter of the three-point revolution in the NBA. And now he stands alone at the top of the three-point list.
And you think about this, the way he changed the game, it's almost like how Babe Ruth changed baseball with the long ball. He has changed the game with the three-point ball. How all 30 teams approach the game is because of number 30. And this is an absolute awesome experience.
And number one on my list is Stephen Wardell Curry. When discussing players who've transformed basketball, Steph Curry's impact is nothing short of extraordinary. His shooting ability, especially from beyond the arc, has not only reshaped the way teams play, but it's redefined the very essence of the game. Before Curry's emergence, three-point shooting was a significant aspect of the game, but it wasn't as central as it is today. Steph's range, his accuracy, and honestly the audacity to shoot from practically anywhere on the court changed defensive strategies and offensive game plans across the league. Curry's Splash Brothers partnership with Klay Thompson, it showcased the potential of a team heavily reliant on three-pointers. The Warriors' success with this strategy led to a league-wide shift, with teams prioritizing three-point shooting and attempting to replicate the Golden State model. Beyond his scoring, Curry's style of play has inspired a new generation of players. Young talents entering the league are more likely to practice their deep shooting, often trying to emulate Curry's signature long-range bombs. The Curry effect has even influenced traditional big men, encouraging them to develop an outside shot. Think Chet Holmgren or Victor Wembanyama. Defensively, Curry's impact is felt in the way teams defend against shooters, often extending defenses to counter the threat of deep three-pointers. This has created more space on the court, emphasizing the value of spacing and long-range shooting in a team's offensive strategy. In essence, Steph Curry's influence extends beyond his stats. It extends beyond the dynastic championships. He's changed the way teams approach the game, emphasizing the importance of three-point shooting, redefining offensive schemes, and leaving a huge mark on the sport's evolution. He's also the reason high school kids pull up from the three-point line during a 2-on-1 fast break. That's crazy.
You act like insanity is catching.
There are other players worth mentioning quickly. Players like Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, even the original AI, Allen Iverson. But I wanted to focus on these four who were so dominant and highly skilled in their respective categories that it seemingly finessed the game into a sea of change. Now, before you throw Kobe into the comments, please note that as great as Kobe Bean Bryant was, let's be honest, he was a facsimile of Michael Jordan. Jordan already broke basketball with his play, his impact. Kobe simply carried the torch and ran through a landscape that had already been reshaped by his predecessor.
Why the fuck I can't shoot three-point shots?
And that brings us to the end of this episode of High and Low. Hope you enjoyed this one. Remember to subscribe to High and Low anywhere you find podcasts. Make us a part of your weekly routine. You know where to find us. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on X, we're on YouTube. Links to those are always in the show notes. You know where to find them. Once again, music is by Live of the Enjoy Music Group. You can find Live on X and on Instagram at LYVE. Additional music is by Sonny Rockwell of The Goodness. Sound design is by Vaughn August. This This is a Von Abraham podcast, just in case you didn't know. So on behalf of those who have broken things, I'm Ike Amaechi. Thank you for listening to High and Low, and we'll talk to you next week.